Welcome, Tenno, to another This Week in Warframe. It is currently July 9th, and from the 9th to the 16th, we have Twitch drops that are still happening right now. You guys can see them right here. This is currently the week 2 Twitch drops that are happening. The first drop is the first of 5 community display. The second drop is a 5 Noggle grab bag, which you're only actually getting 1 Noggle. Unfortunately, I don't know why they should take the 5 out of there. And then we have a Riven Cipher. So that's currently this week. This will reset on the 15th. So once the 15th is over, then we'll have the next week, which I believe this is going to be Saturday morning, Friday or Saturday morning, whenever the 15th happens. Then we'll have the last 5 community display, the Worm Floof grab bag, and the Amp Arcane adapter that you guys can get. Each one of these is 1 hour of watch time. You have to claim your drop on Twitch in order to start getting credit for the second or the third drop. So make sure you guys are claiming your drops as you get them. I've been streaming every day on Twitch, as I always do, even when there's no drops. So Twitch, link in the description or on screen right now. We also have the Cronin Iridos collection that is now out with Prime Gaming. So, or it is not a collection, it's a bundle. You guys are going to get the Cronin, and you're going to get a skin for the Cronin. If you guys have an Amazon Prime account, link to your Twitch, then you can get this absolutely free. And then coming up, I'll go over this a little bit more in next week's video, but just a heads up that this is on its way. The Recall 10.0, look back on Warframe's past and earn exclusive new rewards. So they're basically just going to give us a bunch of weeks leading up to TennoCon, where they're going to give us rewards, and these are through alerts in game. And I will go over this a little bit more next week, because this isn't dropping this week, it's dropping the following week. But we also have Wisp Prime, as you guys can see over here. If I click on this, does this mess anything up? No, it just takes forever to load. So Wisp Prime has been confirmed for the 27th of July this month. So July 27th, we are going to be getting a opportunity to get Wisp Prime, the Prime access and all that stuff, all the cool things she's going to have and everything. And she looks great. Really excited and looking forward to this. We also have later this week, just note that we have Baro is coming later this week on Friday, so be aware for that. The new Prime Resurgence is here with Banshee and Mirage, so you guys can get a Banshee Mirage and all the things that came with them, including the weapons that they came with, like the Afona Prime, or the Atbolto, or the Kogake Prime, and even the Helios Prime. This one is used a lot by the community. So if you guys are interested in any of these Prime accesses, that's what you're going to get. We also have, looks like the Bratton and the Burstin Prime are back right now as well, or not back, but maybe here. The Fang Prime, the Lex Prime, and a lot of cool looking stuff. Call this week has, if you've never missed a call mission before, he's on Earth now, and he's got Deathless, Defeat Sprag, Call Go Fast, Rescue Ostrons, which we haven't seen in months for the Wet Rescue Ostrons, so that's back. Scavenge Damage, Thumper Parts, and Zap Deacons. As far as Chipper goes in his store, we are probably not going to have the blue. We have the Amber Archon Shard, which is nice, because that means we probably have a Crimson Shard with the Archon hunts. So the Archon is, yes, 1 Crimson Shard, and the missions for this are going to be Mobile Defense, an Excavation, and a Showdown. This is also a reminder to not forget about your weekly Maru Ayatan Treasure Hunt, which we also have. For Steel Path for the next 24 hours, we have a Survival, a Crossfire, an Assassination on Deimos. We have Exterminate and Rescue. As far as invasion missions goes, there is the only notable thing that I'm seeing here is a Twin Vipers Wraith Receiver versus the Dara Vandal Blueprint. And as far as today's sortie goes, we have a Free Roam, a Defense, and a Spy. For this week in Nightwave, the new challenges are complete 10 Nightmare missions of any type, defeat 5 Void Angels in the Zaramon, complete 3 Nightmare missions of any type, so that's cool, those two will kind of count together, complete 3 Mobile Defense missions, 500 enemies with an Art Gun, while piloting a hijacked cruise ship, destroy 3 enemy fighters, complete 5 different bounties in the Plains of Eidolon, and 20 enemies while sliding is today's daily. As far as her credit offerings goes this week, Nora has Pistol Scavenger, EMP Aura, Loot Detector, Holster Amp, Rejuvenation, and Sprint Boost. And you can tell by the amount that I have collected on each of these, we're really just looking at Rejuvenation and Sprint Boost that are probably going to be asked about in trade chat. I gotta say, Loot Detector, you'll see this asked about too as well. So if you have extra like credits, Nightwave credits, and you don't need anything else in the Nightwave store, So you can spend your extras on these and just make extra platinum selling them in trade chat. The other mods, she's got a lot this week. So she has Purging Slash for Excalibur, Double Tap for the Latron, Ambush Optics for the Rubico, Purifying Flames for Ember, Focused Acceleration for the Tetra, and Singularity for Nyx. As far as Duviri this week, if we check the circuit out on Steel Path, we're looking at our Incarnate adapters for the Akin Brunt, the Soma, the Vasto, the Nami Solo, and the Burstin. Now, from what I've heard personally about the Soma is this has got an update or two already to it where they've tried to make it a little bit better, and apparently it's still kind of crap. And this is what I'm hearing. I would love for this weapon to be great, and I think everybody else would. So I would imagine, I don't know if they're going to keep going, but what I do know is the Burstin now is currently my favorite primary weapon. So if you're kind of on the fence as to which Incarnate to get this week, if you don't have any of these, I highly recommend the Burstin. This is so much fun. I already have a build for it you guys can find. So we have Garuda, Baruch, and Hildren. This is tough. I'm not even sure what to tell you guys to get. Honestly, I'm on the fence between Baruch and Hildren as far as which one of these you guys should get. But you know what? Pick whatever you want, because they're all good, they're all fun, and it's all up to you. Crethus this week has a Pistol Riven mod for 15 Pathos Clamps. She's got her typical 5,000 Kuva for 10 Pathos Clamps. She has Arcane Power Ramp for 10 Pathos Clamps. And this is a new one. We've also got another Pistol Riven mod for 15 Pathos Clamps. Another 5,000 Kuva for 10 Pathos Clamps. And a Melee Riven mod for 15 Pathos Clamps. That seems to be all she's got this week. But that's cool. A bunch of Rivens. As you guys can see here, Kalervo's Archive is still here, even though that challenge is still gone. So there are different places in Duviri, or different moods in Duviri where you can still get Kalervo Bane, so you can come back here and redeem these things. And they did mention that Kalervo is, like, that event where you would do the Kalervo event is going to be coming around. I think the way that they worded it made it sound like they want it to come around a little bit more often. Something along the lines of, and now I'm just ad-libbing here, the vibe that I got about it was they kind of wanted to come around as often as maybe like the Ghoul Purge or the Thermia Fractures. So it's probably going to be an event like that based off the way they made it sound, but they didn't really specify, so we're kind of just guessing. But this week, Yanta has her 35,000 Kuva, so make sure you guys are grabbing this. And this is going to cost 5 Void Plume Pinions. If you didn't know already, you guys can just basically come to her every 8 hours. This store of hers resets, and you can grab yourself some Void Plume Pinions, some Void Plume Quills, or a Void Plume Crest. And all these should ultimately be helpful. Teshin this week in Steel Path Honors has a Veiled Riven Cipher, as he typically does, and a Kit Gun Riven mod, which I'm not going to buy this week, because I'm not going to do that. Alright, and Captain Suppository Hat, he has this week, looking at a Tenant Ferox with 34% electricity, a Grigori with 29% electricity, Olivia with Toxin 45%. So far, this is decent this week. 45% is not bad. We have a Toxin 26% exec and a 57% Agendus. This one wins it. So if you have leftover Hollow Keys and let's say you don't have any of these weapons, this is a definitely grab this right now, because one more fusion and this is going to be at 60% and you are done with that. Paladino at Iron Wake this week has a Riven mod. Remember to get your Riven mods from her. Okay, it gave it to me anyway. I'm glad I didn't get it from Teshin then. All right. And then we have a Melee Riven mod. These are good. So we also have 35,000 Kuva. Make sure you guys are grabbing those. And, you know, if you care, 150,000 credits. Invigorations are going to be different for everybody. So this is also a reminder for you to check them. But this week we have Garuda with 250% secondary damage and 200% energy max. Geyer with 200% melee critical chance and 75% parkour velocity. And Caliban, who I really thought was here last week, but maybe not, is 200% primary critical chance and 75% sprint speed. And that is my cue to remind you guys that Baro Katir is basically coming for TennoCon. If you guys are buying the Baro TennoCon ticket, you will have access to everything he has ever brought. And if you haven't heard me say this before, if you want, I have made a spreadsheet available to any level of Patreon currently for the time being. So any of you that become a Patreon at any level, can get access to the basic spreadsheet that I've made up with Baro where it literally lists everything that he has with cool little checkboxes for you to just click a button and be like, yes, I own this, which ultimately reduces the overall cost on the spreadsheet, so you know exactly how many credits you need to farm and exactly how many ducats you need to farm in order to prepare for Baro. Because if you're gonna wait for Baro to get here and then think you're gonna, you know, like farm out everything he has, it's not enough time. So the spreadsheet is super useful, and again, any of you that support being a Patreon, no matter what level, will get that, along with tons of other bonuses. But that wraps it up for this week. Thank you guys so much for hanging out. Hope you guys have an awesome one, and I will see you later.